Every culture is different and has different styles of etiquette. Cross-culture in the business world refers to a company's efforts to ensure that its people interact effectively with professionals from backgrounds different from their own. Cross-cultural implies a recognition of national, regional, and ethnic differences in manners and methods and a desire to bridge them. Culture is just one perspective that can help us to understand more about a business. In this video, we will be talking about the field of study, cross-cultural communication, that has emerged to define and understand the many ways the different people of the world communicate with each other verbally and non-verbally. Business culture is not just about how others see a business, but also about how the individuals within an organization understand it.
Cultural differences can be explained by understanding the concept of cultural orientations. A cultural orientation is an inclination to think, feel, or act in a way that is culturally determined. It defines the basis of differences among cultures such as self-identity, interpersonal relationships, communication, and resolving conflict. There are three cross-cultural boundaries: ethnocentric orientation, polycentric orientation, and geocentric orientation. Ethnocentric orientation is using your own culture as a standard for judging other cultures. It is the tendency to view the world primarily from your own perspective. Polycentric orientation is having host country mindset, where managers develop a greater affinity with the country in which they conduct business. It doesn't make a judgment about another culture, but instead attempts to gain an understanding of what makes the culture and society unique. Geocentric orientation is a global mindset where the manager is able to understand a business or market without regards to the country's boundaries. It is a cognitive orientation that combines openness to and awareness of diversity across cultures. Limiting yourself to an ethnocentric orientation can develop many cultural risks in international business. Three cultural risks to be aware of between the US and India are explicit versus implicit, individualism versus collectivism, and time.
Americans tend to be far more explicit than their Indian counterparts. To ensure that everyone has a mutual understanding, they might reiterate or emphasize information, check for understanding, and then commit details in writing. Americans also tend to be more direct and say as it is.
For Indians, they are more likely to communicate implicitly by making use of body language and non-verbal cues. They expect their counterparts to read between the lines and infer meaning. To Indians, having an established relationship helps to put the other person in context and smooths the path to clearer communication.
Americans are more likely to think about themselves than the group or the team. However, teams are still important to American employees, but loyalty is demonstrated differently in comparison to India.
However, for Indians, the group is of precedence and identity is often very much integrated into the group. Team awards are far more celebrated than individual awards, and employees tend to stay put with the same employer for a longer period of time than Americans.
In Western countries, time is considered to be the most important factor while at work. Americans tend to be impatient, and deadlines in business are tight and are expected to be met. People will work long hours to achieve this, and there is little tolerance for delay. Small talk is considered a waste of time, which Indians may find rude.
Whereas in India, life moves at a slower pace. Time is viewed more circular than linear, and relationships are more important than deadlines. Workers in a team may not be even aware of a deadline on a project, as this is considered the responsibility of their supervisor.
Ethnocentrism can be a dangerous philosophy to follow, especially in a business, because it requires each person to make assumptions of the other without taking their perspective into account. Let's look at a situation where this might occur.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Namaste.
Oh, namaste.
How's the day been going?
Good, good.
The weather is really good out today.
Oh yeah, alright, let's get down to business. I have another very important meeting scheduled for 3:30 p.m. sharp that I must be in attendance for.
Oh, I'm really sorry that I was stuck in traffic and the traffic really bothered me.
Oh, okay, let's get started. I want to bring my technological product to India. You should have received an email yesterday that specifically details the benefits and processes involved in this endeavor. I hope you had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I do had a look at it, but then I think I should confirm it to you by the next week.
Okay, thank you, but I would like you to give me the confirmation by next Friday at 11 a.m.
Okay, I would surely confirm, but I have to talk and discuss that with my team so that I can get their inputs and their opinions, and then will get back to you.
Okay, I think as an individual, the business deal will be successful and a greater investment in the Indian market.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's discuss some of the issues that went wrong during that business meeting.
I think it first went wrong when the American assumed that the Indian was being rude due to lateness.
Yeah, that is true. Also, the Indian may have thought the American was being rude by not engaging a conversation before getting down to business.
In terms of explicit versus implicit, the American was very explicit with her goals and objectives.
Which came off as very bossy and arrogant to the Indian.
The American also was not respectful and aware of how Indians value a collectivism philosophy.
Yes, this was seen by the Indian wanting to run all of her ideas by her team and the American completely shutting her down.
The cultural risk discussed could have been reduced by the American adopting a more polycentric or geocentric orientation.
I completely agree. For starters, the American could have been more aware of the Indian's concept of time and the importance of making connections by engaging a conversation at the beginning of the meeting.
True, she could have been more lenient and understanding about the deadline.
Lastly, she also could have respected the Indian's desire to go back and discuss the idea with her colleagues.
Let's take a look at what could have happened if a polycentric or geocentric approach was used.
Hello,
Hello.
namaste.
Namaste.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How's your day been going?
It's been going very well. How about your day?
Very good. I'm really sorry I was stuck in the traffic, so I got late.
Oh my gosh, no worries at all. Do you want to get started?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, I want to bring my technological product to India. You should have received an email yesterday that specifically details the benefits and processes involved in this endeavor. I hope you had a chance to look it over.
I checked my email and will surely get back to you by the next week.
Oh, awesome. That sounds great. Thank you.
But I would surely appreciate if I could go back and confirm it with my team and discuss with them so that I can get their inputs and we can discuss over it.
Perfect. Would you like me to meet with your team as well to get to know them better and discuss the details?
Yeah, sure. This would be a perfect deal and a perfect partnership. Thank you so much.
Work to recognize the cultural risks associated with international business. Failing to account for these risks can cause many problems such as weak market share, missed opportunities, legal challenges, and damage to your reputation.